Mel Kiper released his mock draft 4.0 and has got 2 picks for the Kansas City Chiefs in this one. Did he reach for somebody? Did he pick the right 2 people? I'm going to tell you all about it here on the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Jace Andrews, and we certainly do thank you for spending your time with us here on this Thursday. Now, if you're looking for Chiefs draft coverage, you're in the right place, I promise you. We've got coverage all the way leading up to the 2024 NFL Draft in Detroit. We're going to keep you updated on everything, rumors, news, and of course, once the draft happens, we're going to have scouting reports on every single player. We're going to tell you about why they're good picks. We're going to tell you why they're bad picks, everything in between. So hit the subscribe button. It's free, I promise you. Hit the subscribe button. Join us for this 2 weeks of draft coverage. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Just try us out. A little 2-week trial. And hey, it's free no matter what. Let's talk about the draft picks the Chiefs do currently hold in the top 2 rounds, as this was a 2-round mock draft for Mel Kiper. Pick number 32 and pick number 64. Obviously, you win the Super Bowl, you get the last pick in the draft. That's all right. I'll take it when you're consistently winning Super Bowls. So, obviously, he did not trade these picks. That's why they're still here. Kept these, and these are the ones he went with. So, with round 1, pick 32, Mel Kiper selected Xavier Legette. Now, with a 32nd pick, Mel Kiper is going here with Legette here, and it's pretty obvious that Legette is a really, really good option in a lot of different places for this Kansas City Chiefs squad. Now, Xavier is somewhat of a reach to me. I understand that he is liked by a lot of Chiefs Kingdom and liked that he is going to be a pretty good receiver. However, is he really better than Ladd McConkey, Troy Franklin, A.D. Mitchell? I don't really know. Now, Kiper has selected a wide receiver in the first round for every single mock draft for the Kansas City Chiefs, and Xavier is obviously no exception. Now, here's what Mel Kiper had to say about this draft. Another mock draft, another wideout connected with the Chiefs to end round 1. Legette made a leap in 2023, putting up 1,255 receiving yards with 7 touchdowns. He had just 167 yards in the entire 2022 season. He then ran an eye-popping 4.39-second 40-yard dash at the Combine, solidifying himself among the top 10 prospects at his position. Kansas City adding Marquise Brown, but needs to add more pass catchers this offseason. Now, Legette was projected as a second-rounder, though, and I think that's where I have a little bit of a question mark. And you heard what Mel Kiper said. Yes, his stats this past year, pretty incredible. 1,200 yards. 17.7 on the average, 7 touchdowns, 2 drops. The thing that I just cannot get past, the years prior were just not good. He didn't have over 170 yards in any of the prior 3 years. He played 11 and 13 games in 2021 and 2022. Where was this production? I mean, I don't know about you, but it's just kind of wild that he just popped on the scene. That being said, I obviously know that this is still a pretty good pick, and just because it's one good season doesn't mean you have to throw them in the trash because the other ones are bad. That's not the thing I'm saying. However, wide receiver is the obvious choice at this point. We know it. But are we going to reach for Legette, or are you going to try and get Ladd McConkey? You're going to try and trade up to potentially get A.D. Mitchell, Brian Thomas Jr. I truly just sit here and think, okay, do I like having a wide receiver there in round 1? Yes, of course. Do I really want to get Xavier in round 1? Probably not. I don't think he fits the vibe, especially with the potential with Rashee Rice. Obviously, in his situation, he could have a suspension. He could have a bunch of things. We don't know if he's going to play this year. I need a solidified guy. I don't think Xavier's that. I think he has the chance to be. But when you are going for a three-peat, when you need to try and formulate this team in the best way possible, I'm not reaching in the first round. I'm not. However, maybe I'm off base. Maybe you don't think this. Maybe you think that maybe I'm just dumb and Xavier is a really good pick. Well, now's your time. Do you like the pick of Xavier Legette? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Let me know what you're thinking here in the comments section. What do y'all think about this pick? Let's go to the wide receiver depth chart because I think it's important to ask or talk about. Rashee Rice, we know his situation. He is currently has a arrest warrant out. Obviously, he plans to turn himself in. We don't know whether the suspension will come, what's going to happen with those charges, but 8 counts is certainly something to, not scoff at. Hollywood Brown at wide receiver 2 was catching passes with Patrick Mahomes this past week. looking happy to have him, and I think he could be a really good wide receiver one if Rashee Rice is not there. But then Xavier Legette, Kadarius Toney, Justin Watson, Justin Ross, you have a bunch of guys down there, and do they really make this team? I mean, do they make sure that this team is going to be better than it was in the wide receiver room last year? I don't know. I truly just look at this and think, okay, we need to make sure that this is going to work. However, this is the exact same thing we thought last year. They said Chiefs have to take a wide receiver. They got Rashee Rice in the second round. He did great. Granted, I know you're thinking of, ow, it kind of stinks, but still. I know Brett Veach is a plan, and I trust it. I don't know if it's Xavier, though. I don't know. However, I do know Prize Picks because I'm putting them in every single night, and you can get a $100 deposit match by going to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Now, I know football season may be over, but hey, there's a lot of other sports and stat types that you can get in on with Prize Picks, and a couple other guys that are on new teams this year to say. Well, they've got some Prize Picks season-long projections and receiving yards. I'm going the more for Calvin Ridley, the former Jacksonville Jaguar, now a Tennessee Titan. And then Deontay Johnson heads to Carolina, a team that struggled last year, a team that I expect to struggle again with no first-round pick. I feel as though he's going to be less. I don't know by how much, but I cannot see Bryce Young being a top-tier quarterback just yet. I know that the Panthers have made some decent moves, but I don't think Deontay Johnson's going to immediately see that right away. Prize Picks is super awesome, though, because it's not just football. They've got NBA, MLB, NHL. The Masters is going on right now. They got Prize Picks for that. It's so much fun because there are so many different ways to play. Plus, if you're playing, say, NBA, well, guess what? I know there's always the scare of injuries. Jace, what's going to happen with that? Well, guess what? Prize Picks offers an injury insurance so that your entry will stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. So, for instance, in an NBA basketball game, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return the second, that player projection won't count against you, and the rest of your entry will stay alive. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what make Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Shout out to Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, pick number 64. You go offensive tackle in this one, and Mel Kiper does. Kingsley Suamataia, the BYU offensive tackle. And I like this pick a lot. I think Kingsley has been talked about as a potential guy to be late first round, early second round. The fact that you get him at 64, amazing. Do I think it'll happen? Who's to say? But I like it. Mel Kiper also did talk about this, saying, quote, with the 2023 starter, Donovan Smith, unsigned, the Chiefs have Wanya Morris at left tackle, but not much else. They should bring in competition. Suamataia, my number 9 offensive tackle in this class, took snaps at both left and right tackle in college, but he made huge strides while playing on the left side last season. He's strong and quick, and he has the feet to get the second level in the run game, end quote. It's the second biggest need behind wide receiver, and I don't think we can argue that at this point, just because they're so good at every other part of the game. I'm thinking safety, Shamari Connor. I trust him. Brian Cook, Justin Reed. We're good there. Cornerback. Yeah, maybe, but Joshua Williams had a better PFF ranking than L'Jarius Sneed. Jalen Watson looked great when he was out there. Obviously, Trent McDuffie is a really top-tier cornerback. Your linebacker room is filled out. Your wide receivers are looking, obviously not the greatest, but you're getting that in the first round. So you go offensive tackle. And Kingsley Suamataia, pretty dang good one to have at pick number 64. Overall PFF rank in 2023 of a 67.5. Pretty solid, especially playing in the Big 12. 2 sacks allowed, 5 hits, 6 hurries, 4 penalties. Again, I cannot preface enough. I've talked about him being a first-round pick, and Mel Kiper has him falling to pick number 64 for the Kansas City Chiefs. 64. I mean, hey, I'll take it if it's there. I'm not going to complain. This offensive line, all of a sudden, you got some competition over there on the left tackle slot, Wanya Morris. Now, I will say, Wanya, liked what I saw from him in the few games we saw. 3rd-round draft pick at Oklahoma last year. It's not to say that Kingsley's going to come in and immediately take his job, but it's just like Mel Kiper said. He is going to come in. He is going to challenge this line. He's going to challenge the way that Wanya Morris plays the game. And he's going to come in here and say, hey, if we need some help on that side, we can always rotate Wanya and Kingsley in there, obviously with an offensive line. You try and keep it the same throughout the entirety, but definitely a need that I would like to see conquered. Let's grade Mel Kiper's mock draft 4.0. Here are the first 2 rounds. Xavier Legette, and then, of course, Kingsley Suamataia. What are we thinking about this? A, B, C, D, or F? Get in the comments section. Let me know on this one because I'm going to give you my ranking here in just a moment. So right now, here's what I want you to do. Scroll down and type that. That'll be a YouTube ad, but by the time you go down and type your answer, you'll come back up. It'll be over. I'm going B+ on this. Why? I think it's solid. I think that there is a little bit of a reach for Xavier. However, I'm not mad about it. I'm not going to be outlandishly upset if that is the pick, especially the fact that you got Kingsley Suamataia. This would easily be an A or an A+ if you would have happened to got a Ladd McConkey, an A.D. Mitchell, trade up for Brian Thomas Jr., something of that nature. But because you got Xavier, I just don't think I can give it an A. I'm not mad about it. I just don't think it's the best choice with this wide receiver room and its current state, how it is. Kingsley Suamataia, on the other hand, love the pick. Really like him at 64. Brings a lot of positive to the Chiefs' offensive line. And I think he fills in well with Wanya Morris as a potential rotation or at least competition in that left tackle room. We certainly do appreciate you watching here on the Cheifs Report. We're going to make sure we keep you updated all the way heading through draft coverage. So if you want more draft news, draft rumors, all that stuff, we'll have it for you right here on this show. So hit the subscribe button, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. You're watching on your laptop. Pretty simple. Scroll down, little red subscribe button, click that. Watch it on your phone. You're watching like this, flip it, click the red subscribe button. Boom, you're subscribed. I really appreciate you hanging out with us today, but for now, Chiefs Kingdom. Peace out.